like your love, Jesus. There's nothing like your love. And I can't stop my lips from singing, I can't stop my voice from shouting about your love. It's everything I ever wanted. Jesus, you're better than the best thing. Your love is making my heart sing. Nothing could ever separate me from you. Your grace, there's nothing like your grace, Jesus. There's nothing like your grace. And I can't stop my lips from singing, I can't stop my voice from shouting about your love. It's everything I ever wanted. Jesus, you're better than the best thing. Your love is making my heart sing. Nothing could ever separate me from you. Your name is higher, higher above any other. We'll sing your praise forever. There is no one greater than you. Your name is higher, higher above any other. We'll sing your praise forever. There is no one greater than you. Jesus, you're better than the best thing. Your love is making my heart sing. Nothing could ever separate me from you. Jesus, you're better than the best thing. Your love is making my heart sing. Nothing could ever separate me from you. Yeah.
Hi families, I wanted to share with you 3 very important announcements. First of all, October 23rd is a Saturday. That is our only weekend service for that weekend. There won't be kids service on the 24th. And so we're asking that you would join us on October 23rd in downtown Linden for Linden Night of Hope. The family area for kids will open at 4 p.m. It's a great chance for your kids not only to have a blast, but for you guys to get to know other families in the community and to encourage them to stick around for the message of hope that will come, because that's a chance for them to hear the gospel. And then the next weekend, October 31st, is a Sunday. So we're asking that weekend kids wear their costume or dress up as something, because it's going to really drive home our lesson for that weekend, which is all about the wheat and the tares and how God can tell the difference between pretenders. And so have your kids wear their costume to church, totally fine. It's going to fit with our lesson, and we're going to have a ton of fun as we learn about following Jesus as Lord. And then we have a challenge for you. We have Halloween stickers. So these are stickers that have a QR code that when people scan them, it takes them directly to the church information and family services. So what we're asking is that you would grab those. You can grab them now all the way through Halloween, as long as they last. Take as many as you need, stick them on candy or the treats that you hand out at your house, so that your neighborhood maybe will scan that and have a chance to hear about Jesus as Lord and to be invited to all of our services. So you can grab those at the office or on a weekend service. We'll see you soon.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you, oh we live for you.
Good morning, friends. All this fall, we've been learning about Jesus' parables. Remember, parables are special stories that Jesus told because they have two meanings, the earthly everyday meaning and then the heavenly meaning, what Jesus was trying to teach us through these stories. So today's parable is in Luke 12, and Jesus has just been asked to settle an argument between two brothers. They're fighting over money, and Jesus tells this parable or story as his answer. He says, a rich man had a fertile farm that produced fine crops. He said to himself, what should I do? I don't have room for all my crops. So this man had fertile ground. That means his farm grew crops really, really well. He had so many crops, he couldn't store them all, and he didn't know what to do with them. So he comes up with this plan. He says, I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store all my wheat and other goods. So on the surface, this seems like a really wise plan. The man decides he'll tear down his barn and build a bigger barn in its place. This way he can store all his crops, nothing will go to waste. Seems wise, right? But Jesus explains that this man's heart is actually all wrong. Let's check it out. Here's what the man says. He says, I'll sit back and say to myself, my friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy, eat, drink, and be merry. Okay, so this man basically wants to be able to store these crops and have a bigger barn so that he can be really, really rich. He wants to be able to not work and have enough money to buy everything he wants so that it might make him happy. Now, friends, is this what a follower of Jesus looks like? Not at all. He's not thinking about how God blessed him with these crops or how he could use the money from all these crops to serve God or like share with others. He doesn't have the right heart at all. And this is a problem because Jesus' parable takes a very surprising turn. God said to him, you fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for? This man's crops and barns and money are all about to be worthless. He's about to meet God face to face, and he doesn't have any hope for that moment. His money and crops, they aren't going to mean anything when he meets God. Jesus explains why this man is a fool. He's not wise at all. His plan wasn't smart because his heart was all wrong. And he explains the meaning of the parable. He says, yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God. This rich fool made his money and his crops his Lord. He also made wanting more stuff and feeling good his Lord. He wasn't focused on God at all. Instead, he was focused on building his own kingdom. And Jesus' parable reminds us that earthly kingdoms don't last. And so the meaning of this parable, if you don't know Jesus as Lord, is very clear. It's that all the money, all the friends, all the success you could have in this world won't matter when your time on earth is done. When it comes time to meet God face to face, the only thing that will matter is if you have a rich relationship with God. And that's only possible through Jesus, his son, who died on the cross to pay the price for your sin. By believing that and making him Lord of your life, your master or your boss, that's the thing that matters. That's earthly treasure that will never fade. If Jesus is already your Lord, the meaning of this parable is important for you too. This man was focused on building his own kingdom. And if Jesus is your Lord, you should be about God's kingdom because earthly kingdoms, earthly treasure will fade away. Matthew says it this way. Don't store up treasures here on earth where moths eat them and rust destroys them and where thieves break in and steal. Store up your treasures in heaven where moths and rust cannot destroy and thieves do not break in and steal. So remember, earthly stuff doesn't last. Heavenly stuff lasts forever. Wherever your treasure is, there the desires of your heart will also be. So we could look at the rich fool's heart and see that his desires, the Lord of his life, was himself and his own kingdom. If Jesus is your Lord, your heart's desire should be Jesus. It should be building God's kingdom and telling others about him. Wherever your heart is, that's what you're focused on. It's the thing that you love most of all, that you're treating as Lord of your life. And so if you say Jesus is your Lord, your heart should be fixed on him. Your focus should be building his kingdom each and every day because each day is a blessing from God. Those crops that man had were a blessing from God that could have been used to serve him. Just like your good grades, your stuff, being liked by people and having lots of friends, or having lots of money. Those blessings from God should be used to build His kingdom, telling others about Him. That should be our focus each and every day in everything we do. We focus on God by making Jesus Lord.